Before we get started, please go over to Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately. I stand with Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, and Michelle Obama. I stand with them. I proudly stand with them. Now, we know black women and girls have always endured disrespect in American society. It's nothing new. But in recent years, the verbal attacks, the online abuse, and the real-world threats have increased dramatically. Black women face what could be called a trifecta of dishonor, including racism, sexism, classism. And if they dare speak up, or if they are successful, or if they fight back, they're attacked even worse. And what's extremely disappointing is this is not just coming from white conservatives, MAGA, white supremacists. Some black men and even women also tear down black women. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. It doesn't matter if black women are in politics, business, law, sports, some other kind of entertainment. Black women get attacked way more than white women. Okay? Now, take, for example, Michelle Obama. She has been completely disrespected. Haters have called her a man and mocked her looks. Folks over at Fox News compared her to an ape, which is outright racism. I mean, it is just cold racism. White supremacists attacked her for even promoting healthy eating, something that is good for everyone. And we all witnessed the hate Kamala Harris experienced running for the presidency. I mean, right-wing media relentlessly mocked her. They accused her of being incompetent despite the fact that she had been a successful former U.S. senator and the attorney general of the largest state. I mean, they called her racial slurs, and Trump questioned her blackness, said she had just turned black. Even Janet Jackson questioned her blackness. And most recently, Jasmine Crockett has faced similar attacks. I mean, she is really going through with these attacks. And that's because she's one of the strongest voices pushing back against Trump. So she receives many death threats, which now require she has bodyguards. I mean, these folks are attacking her online. They're attacking her in Congress. They're calling her everything from ghetto to incompetent to unethical. They attack her appearance. And again, the sad and perplexing truth is not all these attacks come from white people. No, there are black men and even black women who are joining in this disrespect. So why? I mean, that's the only thing that comes to mind. Why? Why do some black men and women attack black women like Jasmine Crockett while defending a white supremacist like Trump and a white supremacy movement like MAGA? This is bewildering because, let's keep it real, Trump has done nothing for black people. Nothing. No tangibles, no reparations, nothing. Yet some black men seem to worship the ground he walks on while tearing down black women who are fighting him in his policies. Again, why? Well, here's the answer. My question was proverbial. I know the answer. The answer is some black men have been brainwashed. They brought into the red pill manosphere, which preaches black women are loud and obnoxious and that they're the enemies. They've also brought into MAGA's propaganda that Trump is good for black men because his policies will help them get economic benefits. They've brought into the historic, the specific, that unique hatred of black women that's rooted in white supremacy that goes back to the beginning of America. Like the time when white disc jockey, you may remember this man, Don Imus, he called some black female basketball players nappy-headed hoes. Unfortunately, MAGA is exploiting and weaponizing this divide between some black men and some black women. And I keep emphasizing some, because most black men do not, fortunately, they do not demonize black female politicians to support Trump. Most don't do it. It's a few. And if we don't fix this, we will be politically powerless, because MAGA has mastered how to magnify this divide. As when Trump said that Kamala just turned black. That was intended to divide the African-American community. And it worked. Now, one of the excuses some black men use to denigrate black women is they claim that black women are doing so much better than black men. And yes, admittedly, some individual black women are doing very well, and I celebrate them. Okay, I'm a girl dad. I celebrate successful black women. But overall, black women still struggle big time. And I want to share some data with you that proves it, so we can dispel this myth and hopefully try to eliminate or lessen this resentment, among black men and women, some of them. All right, take economic inequality. Black women earn only 64 cents of every dollar earned by white men. Black women face higher unemployment rates than both white women and black men, even when equally qualified. Let me read that again. Black women face higher unemployment rates than both white women and black men, even when equally qualified. Black women are 3 times likely to die from pregnancy. 3 times. They are less likely to be believed by doctors when they report their pain, leading to worse health outcomes. Black women have high rates of heart disease, hypertension, and diabetes, all linked to systemic stress and inadequate health care access. You see, this is a myth that black women are doing, they're on top of the world, and therefore there's some reason for black men to be resentful or envious or so on. And again, this is just some black men. Black girls are suspended 6 times more than white girls, often for subjective offenses like attitude or disrespect. And this is one of the main reasons why we got to stop this, because this says to white America, you can disrespect not only black women, but our girls, our children. Black girls are less likely to be encouraged for STEM careers despite excelling in math and science. Black girls make up 16% of female students, but account for 43% of school arrests. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Black women who speak out are labeled angry, aggressive, or difficult, which discourages them from advocating for themselves and for others. In fact, it's this stereotype, the one that I just mentioned, that is often applied to Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, and Michelle Obama, and other strong-minded black women. I mean, if you grew up in the black community, you know that the black community is filled with strong black women. I grew up with, I think, about 8 aunts. 8 strong-minded black Southern aunts. They were all like another mother to me. Okay? They shaped my thinking. They shaped my life. Strong black women who oftentimes had to do everything. Go out and get the food, come home and cook it, wash up the kids, wash up the clothes, and everything else. We've all seen it. So this data disproves this myth that black women are sitting on top of the world and black men are at their feet. And the biggest proof of that is the fact that Kamala Harris lost the presidency, although she was much, much more qualified than Trump. Trump thanked black people for voting him in because over 2 million blacks voted for Trump, which gave him the victory. All right? So we just got to do better with black women. We got to do better. Because our support for Trump and rejection of Kamala will cause all of us now to pay a price. And if we can see our way through the next 4 years, we can't make this mistake again. In fact, in 2026, we can help correct this. But we got to deal with this seemingly divide between some black men and some black women. So, yeah, we're all going to have to deal with this because, it's only been 2 months of Trump's new administration, and he's already gutted DEI, which closes doors for blacks. He's using that affirmative action case that the court handed down a couple of years ago to remove pathways for black students and black workers. And his allies are constantly enacting new voter suppression laws targeting black voters. And the far-right judges he appointed in his first term and will definitely get the opportunity to appoint more in this term are rolling back protections from the civil rights movement, like the Civil Rights Act of 64 or the Voting Rights Act of 65, the Fair Housing Act of 68. They're coming for all of that. They're coming for every bit of that. We are the generation that could lose those civil rights protections. What a distinction that is. Trump has already cut many black federal jobs and is throwing families just in a tailspin because whatever severance package they got is probably not going to be enough. It's not going to last very long. He's also cutting social safety nets like Medicaid, which will harm some of the 13 million black women and children who are Medicaid recipients. 13 million. That is almost 1/3 of all black people. In other words, you line up 3 people on Medicaid, one of them will be black. One of them out of 3 will be black. That's a lot. That means cuts to Medicaid will disproportionately impact who? Black women and children. And there are some elders on Medicaid, but most elders are on Medicare. Trump also wants to privatize the U.S. Postal Service, which is a major employer of black workers. And he's already closed civil rights offices in various federal agencies, including the EPA, as well as the Department of Education. So all I'm trying to say here is, you black Trump voters, we warned you. But you disregarded our warnings. And you played the fool. And now that is affecting the country and especially us black people. You turn your back on Kamala. You turn your back on African Americans, generally the black community, who voted overwhelmingly for Kamala. Consequently, all of America is suffering, but especially black Americans, especially us. So I have 2 questions. One, when are you black MAGA supporters going to wake up? When are you going to wake up out of your sleep? When are you going to shake off this daze? I hope it's sooner rather than later. Because, again, 2026 is coming up. And we need to flip Congress. And we can, when over 17 million or around 17 million blacks did not vote, although they are eligible to vote. My second question is, how do the rest of us fix this mess that we're in? How do we fix this? Well, visit our website, lljp.org. Go to the Advanced 2026 page, and you'll see that this is fixable. But we got to get to work now. Now, regarding the attacks on black women, here are some suggestions to deal with that. Number one, call out the attacks on black women. Call them out. When you hear that, don't entertain that. Don't laugh at that. Don't let that go unchecked. Speak out against that. Think about your daughter. Think about your granddaughter. Think about your nieces. Step 2, protect and uplift Black women. They deserve our help. Our sisters deserve our help. Let's unite. Let's come together. Protect and uplift Black women. Listen, you men especially. That is the basic responsibility of any men from any community, to protect the women and children in their community. And that applies oftentimes to women and children you don't even know if you see somebody bothering them. It certainly means that we don't join in assaulting them and attacking them verbally and so on. 4, white supremacy. And step 3, stop defending white supremacy. Stop defending white supremacy. And number 4, we got to end this Black gender war. We got to end it. Brothers, our Black women deserve better. They are not our enemies. They are not, someone that we should be attacking and hating. Instead, they are our partners, our mothers, our sisters, our nieces, our aunts, our grandmothers, our daughters. We must defend them. We got to stand with them. We got to protect them. Because if we don't, then who will? Who will? All right, I'm Reverend and Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett. Thank you for watching this video. And remember, stay woke.